What's good, fam? We are finally back with another video. I have been going for about almost 2 months. It's been a long 2 months. A lot of things have been happening. Unfortunately, my old studio desk that I have been using for 2 decades collapsed on me. So I had to revamp, get a new desk, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Follow me. All right, so I'm gonna start out with this particular photo right here because this picture was taken 4/22/2002, and this is that same studio desk that I have been using for years. So this desk has been around for a very, very long time, and I just happened to stumble across this picture before I made this video, so I thought, why not show it and talk about it. I even remember this interface right here. It's the EMU0404. I've been doing this for a long time. But again, that desk had been very old. The bottom of the desk started to cave in, and I had to pull everything off of it as quickly as possible because I just didn't want to have the desk fully collapse with everything on it. That would have been a tragedy. I don't know, by the time this video come out, it might be a month or something. I don't know. It's gonna be a while before I put out a video. So I'm currently in the process of tearing down my space. It's kind of in disarray back there. Hopefully, it's a good look by the time it's done. All right, so at this point, I've been going for a couple hours now, and I don't even feel like I've done nothing for real. Got my cameras and stuff down. Got the desk cleared out a little bit. Still got a long way to go though. All right, so don't judge me. You can really see how bad my cable management really was. I'm kind of disgusted, man. You know, this is just one side of the jumbled mess I had. That is absolutely one of the issues that I definitely know that I want to fix with this new setup. Now, one of the biggest improvements for me when it comes to this desk is the fact that this desk has a crap load of rack mount space. My previous desk didn't have any rack space at all, so some of the stuff was just sitting on top of the desk in different places. I know I didn't show a lot of that in previous videos, but it was just sitting around. It was all interconnected, but it was just sitting around in different places. So this desk does allow me to have everything looking much, much cleaner because it does have up to 30 rack mount spaces, which is a lot. I don't have 30 rack mounts. I got a few, but not quite 30. This desk is also quite big. It's a lot bigger than what I expected when I ordered it. I kind of went over the measurements, but my math was a little off. My math wasn't mathing that day. But it is actually 102 inches long, 30 inches deep. So it can hold a lot of space. It also can hold a lot of weight, which is something that's necessary if you got a lot of equipment. You know, I don't want to have my desk caving in on me again. And this one was built specifically to handle anything that I can throw at it. Now I want to talk about some of the equipment I use and a little bit about how I got everything set up. So starting on the left side of the desk in the rack spaces, I have two WA2As, which I'm going to be using primarily for vocals. Not so much anything else. You can use it on drums and other instruments, but I got those specifically to run vocals through them because I like the way LA2A style compressors sound on vocals. So I got a pair of those specifically to run vocals through it when I'm in record mode. Not so much for making beats, but when I'm actually tracking out songs and song sessions and things like that. Now, above these two WA2As, I have two Focusrite units. One is the Scarlett 18i20 Generation 3, which is the interface that I used for a long time prior to getting Apollo. And then the other one is the Claret Plus Octopre. Now, I feel like I decided to do something kind of interesting with these two units because I'm no longer using them as my main audio interface setup. I decided to put the Scarlett 18i20 Generation 3 in standalone mode along with the Claret Plus Octopre, and I'm basically using those for extra inputs through ADAC into my Apollos. So in total, that gives me up to 32 inputs. Actually a little bit more than that if I'm using like the SPDIF inputs and all of that other stuff, but in the basic sense, it gives me up to 32 inputs so that I have more than enough to utilize all of my inputs and outputs for everything that I'm trying to do right now. Now, sitting on top of that is one of the pull-out trays that this desk has. It has 3 pull-out trays, one on the left side and one on the right side for smaller pieces of equipment. And then it has a pull-out tray for a keyboard in the middle, which will hold up to an 88 key keyboard, almost any style of 88 key keyboard. That's not what I have on it right now, and we'll get to that, but it can hold very large keyboards if that's what you wanted to put on it. Now, my first pull-out tray is housing the Rodecaster Pro 2. I have the Rodecaster Pro 2 sitting on a laptop coolant fan because I noticed that if you use the Rodecaster Pro 2 for extended periods of time, it does tend to get a little bit hot. So the little laptop coolant fan should help with that, even if it's just a little bit. So not really a big deal. The fans are super quiet, can't really hear them. So the sound from the fans is not really an issue at all. Now, sitting on top of the left side of the desk, for now, I might move it somewhere else. I do have a headphone rack right there. You can kind of see it right here. It holds up to 10 pairs of headphones. I got that from Amazon, fairly cheap. Took a couple of minutes to put it together, but I may move it somewhere else to utilize that space for something else. But for now, there is that headphone right there, and it's coming in quite handy because I do have, as you can see, a crap load of headphones. I've used a bunch of different headphones over the years, and most of them still work. They're still pretty good, so I like to keep them handy. Now, next to the headphone rack, I do have a Sterling headphone amplifier / splitter, which gives me up to 4 additional headphone outputs, so that if I am tracking multiple people, or I have people just sitting in here just listening and vibing out, and I'm not using the monitors and I'm running everything through headphones at the time, I can have up to 4 more people using headphones, and they can all control their own level. So everybody can have different volumes and stuff like that if they want to, which I think is pretty cool. That's also separate from the main headphones that I'm using. So everybody that's listening in can have their own separate volumes and kind of hear the sound the way that they want to. Now, on top of the desk on the right side, there is a radio power conditioner along with 2 Apollos. One is the Apollo X8 and also the Apollo X8P. Now, as far as my inputs and outputs, these are the brains of the operation right now. As I said before, The Scarlett interface and the Claret Plus Octopre are running into the Apollos through ADAT. Now, the reason why I wanted to use two Apollos, the X8P and the X8, is because I'm using those two units to send 16 outputs into my 2-bus plus, which is sitting on the right side of the desk, along with a Bax EQ, which is what I'm using for my analog summing as of right now. Now, before I was using the two Apollos to send those outputs into the 2-bus plus, I was using the Apollo and a Claret Plus Octopre. And while that setup did work, I did notice a difference in the way that the sound was hitting the 2-bus plus from the Claret Plus Octopre and the Apollo. So I wanted to kind of unify that to send out sound at 24 dB from all 16 inputs so that I can hit the 2-bus plus the way that I want to, because I kind of want to push it a little bit, because I feel like you get better results. It seems like to me that the 2-bus plus likes the sound coming in at a certain level, so it's got to be fairly hot in order to hit that 2-bus plus right to get the sound coming out of it the way that you want it to. So that's why I chose to use two Apollos to do that, instead of mixing and matching with the Apollo and the Scarlett, or the Apollo and the Claret Plus and things like that. Since I still have those Focusrite units, I'm using those for additional inputs. Now let's talk about some of that right now. So this right here is a little special for me. This is the MPC Key 61, and the keyboard on the top is a MD 1700, which is made by Radio Shack, and I don't even think there are any more Radio Shacks in existence today, but this keyboard is older than almost all of my kids. Now, I decided to bring this keyboard back because I found out just a couple of weeks ago, just reading the manual on this keyboard, it wasn't even connected. Reading the manual on this keyboard, I found out that this keyboard has a built-in synthesizer, and I never knew that, because I always thought the sounds from this keyboard sounded pretty generic. So since it sounded generic, I never really wanted to use the sounds of this keyboard, because this keyboard does have MIDI connectivity, MIDI in and MIDI out, but doesn't have any knobs or anything like that, just the keyboard. So I would use this keyboard to play whatever melodies that I wanted to try to play just through MIDI, and only record the MIDI data, and then use VSTs and things like that to apply whatever sounds that I wanted to apply to those notes. But now that I know that this thing has a synthesizer in it, I kind of want to bring this keyboard back and play with it some more now to come up with something unique. One of the other things that I'm also doing with this keyboard is I have the keyboard synced up with the MPC through MIDI as well. So that means that I can use the MPC to play that particular keyboard, which is cool. So if I want to use the MPC to kind of arrange my notes, record sounds, and not have to play it from the keys, I can do that and use Pad Perform and all of the tools that the MPC has available to it. And I think that's pretty dope. Now, me not being a guitar pedal kind of guy, never using guitar pedals at all, I did find myself a little bit impressed with these guitar pedals. In terms of the sound, I don't necessarily feel like when you're manipulating sounds in this kind of way that it has to be the highest quality, but I also don't think that the guitar pedals are of a poor quality either. So you know that my old keyboard is hooked up to my MPC now, which is cool. Now let me show you how it sounds when I run the same keyboard through one of these guitar pedals. And this one is called Paradise. I'll just engage that guitar pedal. And it's a reverb pedal, but it adds a lot of lushness to the sound. I'm not mad at the sound at all. Now, let's gauge another one of these guitar pedals, because I got it set up to where I can run it through any and all of these guitar pedals, mix and match them. I'm probably not going to show you every one because I do want to kind of move along through the video, but let's try out this one. And we're going to add levitate. So both of these guitar pedals are engaged now at the same time. That adds a whole new range to the sound. Not to mention the fact that I can use the MPC and change it to different sound. It just makes these sounds, which I previously thought was kind of generic and basic, it makes all of the sounds coming out of this keyboard sound full, lush, rich, a multitude of other things. Now, the guitar pedals are called Paradise, the Bass Factory, Levitate, the Dynacomp, and the Modular. Now, turn these guitar pedals off. That same sound I just played, really basic. Turn them back on one time, play the same note. And I haven't even tweaked these pedals yet. I play with them a little bit, but just to show you that this could be a game changer. I will have links in the description for everything that I'm showing you in the video. And to be clear, I'm not trying to convince you to buy anything. I'm just showing you what I'm working with and how I'm doing it. Now, in terms of my audio monitoring situation, I am using KRK Rocket 8s. I have 2 pairs of those, different generations, and then a pair of Mackie CRX3s. And then I also have a pair of $20 desktop speakers, which are like the bottom of the barrel speakers, because I wanted to be able to have a bunch of different monitoring points to check my audio reference level. Now, I am aware that a lot of people don't like KRK speakers because of the way they sound. A lot of people say they're trash. I do have my particular reason why I choose to stick with the KRKs, and that's because, and I've heard the way different speakers sound, but I have used these KRK speakers for so long that I'm used to the way they sound. So I've gotten to the point where I have learned the speakers, the frequency ranges, so I know how to make the music translate into wherever I want to play it. So if I take something out to the car, it usually sounds pretty spot on to where I feel like it should be. So in terms of that, I say that it does matter what kind of speakers that you have, because some speakers are better than others, but it's also important to learn your speakers, because once you know your speakers inside and out, you will learn how to make things translate better no matter what. So that's why I'm choosing to stick with the KRKs and not venture to other brands, because other brands will kind of change the way my sound is, because I'm not going to be used to them as well as I am with the KRKs. Now, when it comes to my monitor switcher, right now I am using the Mackie Big Knob Studio Plus. So for now, the Mackie Big Knob Studio Plus gives me all of the options that I need in terms of monitor switching, speaker switching, things like that. It's really easy to use, easy to set up. It's not overly expensive, and it supports all of my needs. I do feel like it might add a slight amount of color to the sound. As of now, I don't feel like it's a really big deal. It's something that I feel like I can deal with and work around it, so I'm cool with that. Eventually I may move on to something else. I don't have very many complaints about the Mackie Big Knob Studio Plus. Now this unit right here that I'm about to talk about, I think is a little bit underrated. A lot of people don't really know about these, but it's a RAID hardware drive enclosure. This particular one has 4 hard drives that you can install in it, and I do have 4 hard drives in it, and you can connect all 4 of those hard drives to your computer with just one USB-C cable, and this thing is 10 gigabyte transfer speed, so it's pretty fast. So you never really have to worry about it reading and writing the drives too slow, and it will save you a USB-C port or a USB port on your computer. That allows you to get more in or more out at one point in time and using less cables versus having to have a USB cable for every single hard drive. So save you some space. Also, each hard drive in this particular unit can be up to 2 terabytes, and I have 4 2 terabyte hard drives in this unit, so that gives me 8 terabytes in this drive. Not extremely high capacity, but it is a lot of storage space for whatever you might need. Now, there are some newer versions of these that you can get that hold a massive amount more than what I'm using right now, but if it comes down to maybe that being a necessity for me, maybe I'll upgrade and get a bigger one. But for now, this supports everything that I need to do. Now, I do have a record player also over here, or a turntable for those of you who want to be specific about what you call it. Still the same thing. It plays records. It's a record player. You can call it whatever you want. In terms of sampling, that's something that a lot of people feel like is a necessity. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. I sample from whatever I sample from. If it's something I want to sample, doesn't matter what medium it's on, I'm gonna sample it. But a lot of people would tell you that a record player or a turntable is a necessity. Now I have my MPC Live 2 on my right side pull-out slot. Pretty straightforward. There's nothing spectacular about it. It's basically my storage location right there. I got a couple other units that I can place there, but for now, I'm happy with the MPC being right there. That's my baby anyway. And I still feel like the MPC Live 2, as of right now, is the most versatile MPC that you can have. Now, in the pull-out tray in front of me here, I have the Arturia Keylab 49 Mark II. I know the Mark III just came out. There's not enough differences in that to make me want to get that Mark III. They both look beautiful. So for now, the Mark II suits me fine. Next to that, I have the MPK Mini 3, which is connected to my FCPX. Just for if I want to use a quick set of keys real quick, I can pull it out and jump on that. And lastly, next to the MPK Mini 3 is the Machine MK3. Now, I also know that the Machine Plus is out there and has been available for a long time. For me, having it in standalone is not really a big factor. Outside of the standalone capabilities, there's basically no difference between the MK3 and the Machine Plus. For me, just my opinion. So I don't feel that I need to try to get a Machine Plus. I'm cool with the MK3 and the way that it's currently set up. Now, in terms of the audio, as far as microphone, I do have several microphones that I'm using. The microphone that you're hearing right now for YouTube is like right here. My finger is like a ½ inch away from it. Probably hear me touching it right now. But this microphone is a Sennheiser MKH50. And I'm using that as an overhead mic for YouTube because, like, if I'm recording YouTube videos or talking about certain things, I don't really like having a microphone in my face kind of swinging around. I want to be free so that I can move around anywhere without having to worry about bumping into the microphone. So an overhead microphone like this suits me way better than having like a microphone sitting in front of my face. Now I have several microphones. I have maybe 20 microphones. I don't know. Got a bunch of them. But the Sennheiser MKH50 is one of my favorite microphones. It is fairly expensive, but it's a very, very good microphone. It sounds really nice if you can't tell. It sounds good from a distance away. You don't have to have it smack in your face for the microphone to sound good. If I'm in song mode, say I'm recording a song, I'm deciding I want to rap or have sing or whatever the case may be, I'm recording myself, right? And I'm recording to my DAW. Then in that case, the the microphone of choice that I'm using is a Spear DLX microphone, which is a modeling microphone that you can use to emulate a lot of different microphones on the market. Now, the microphone is not in the scene right now, but let me show you where it's at. So here it is right here, the Spear DLX. I can just grab this microphone and pull it over whenever I'm ready to record. Now, if I'm just making a YouTube video, I would never do this because this microphone would be in my way. It would irritate the crap out of me. But if I'm trying to record a song or something like that, then this is my microphone of choice. Now, I also have this microphone on a Samson boom arm. Now, this particular boom arm is very, very difficult to find. This is the biggest boom arm that I've ever seen as far as reach, and it can pretty much reach halfway across the desk, or as far as I need it to, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get this one. I have several boom arms. Most of them are Rode PSA 1s, but I'm using this for my microphone because of the length and the range that it has. This Samson boom arm is 48 inches by 48 inches, which stretches a mile in terms of boom arm. Most of them that you find are only going to be like 24 inches. The Rode PSA 1s, I believe they're 36 inches. So this reaches a lot farther than those if you need something that can reach a pretty good distance, which is what I was looking for. Now, this particular boom arm, the only place I've been able to find it on is Sweetwater. There are some that are on Zounds, but not the ones that are this length. And I believe this one costed around, I don't know, $60 or $70, which is not bad at all, especially for it to reach as far as it is. And it be, I mean, it's rare. You can't find very many boom arms that is this long and sturdy like this. It has about the same sturdiness as a Rode PSA 1, but with a lot further reach. Now, if I'm recording other people, I'm also using a Spear microphone for if I'm recording other artists and all that. But I'm a little stingy with my DLX because I don't want to change the settings on it because I have it set exactly the way I like it. So I don't let nobody use that mic. Is that bad? Is that bad? Y'all can be honest, man. If I'm doing too much with that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm recording everybody else on a Spear LX microphone. So I can set that microphone up for other artists if I'm recording somebody else and I put them on that mic. I still kind of feel bad because I don't let nobody use the DLX though. Is that, come on now. Y'all gonna be honest with me? They still ain't gonna get it though. They still ain't getting on it. Now, last but not least, I don't really feel like it's necessary for me to talk about this, but just a little insight. I wanted to tell people about my video recording situation right now. I'm currently using 4 different cameras. 2 of them are a bit on the cheaper side. They are the exact same camera. I have 2 ZV-E10. One is black, one is white. They both have very good video quality, so I don't have a problem with those cameras. I actually like these cameras a lot. They're very small, very portable, and they get the job done. Now, as far as the main camera, this camera, the one you're looking at me through right now, this is a Sony a7 IV. The Sony a7 IV at this point in time is probably my favorite camera. I think the quality on it is pristine. I mean, look at my skin. It's making me, oh my God, this camera's making me look so beautiful. Oh my God. No, I'm just playing. But I do think the video quality on this camera is excellent. It has a plethora of features that still work. This camera is about 4 years old, but all of the features on it are amazing. It does not have like the AI stuff on some of the newer cameras, but if you know how to set the camera up, you know how to get it where you want it, you can't really go wrong with this camera. And I still highly recommend it. And the last camera that I use, which I don't really show very often, is the Sony FX3. And I'm using that as kind of a back camera. So I'll show you that angle right now. So it's kind of the backside. Camera is right over here. Dope camera. Cinema camera, all of the features that you need. You can make some real live movies with that bad boy if you want to. And I'm recording all of this into OBS and using OBS as my video switcher. Having all of these cameras also allows me to show you multiple angles, different views, so I could show you things from different areas and what's on the computer screen if I needed to, just to give you a better view or a better idea of what's actually going on, kind of see all of the different angles at once. And this is another angle that I rarely show, but if I need to, I can pull that out. Now, one of the biggest game changers in terms of trying to make videos look good for YouTube and content creation, not just the audio space, is the lighting. That being said, I found these two pad lights on Amazon. They are soft lights. You can change the color temperature. Right now I have them on 5600 Kelvin, which is like a daylight kind of setting. Right now it's the middle of the night, and for me, in my creation space, I like a kind of a moody, vibey kind of room. I like it kind of dark, and it's actually fairly dark in this room right now. The way the camera settings are and the way it looks, you can't really tell, or maybe you can, but I like this dark, vibey kind of mood. Again, when it comes to the lighting, these pad lights add a soft light to the scene. It makes everything look well lit without making the room overly bright, and I like that. And I found these lights on Amazon. They work pretty good. I have zero complaints about these lights, and they come with some nice boom arm stands so you can kind of move them around as you need to. Now I'm using two of these, one on the left side and one on the right side, to kind of make sure everything is evenly lit. But I did find these on Amazon for fairly cheap. So if you need some great lighting or a great lighting solution, I do believe these might work for just about anybody. And as you can see, they have everything lit up very well across the entirety of this entire desk. You know, even if I'm at a different angle, for the most part, everything is going to be clear, visible, and I'm going to be able to show you guys any and everything I want to be able to show you, which makes me happy. All right, I think that's all I got for this video. This video might have been long. I don't know, was it too long? It might be, but that's all I got for this video. If you have any questions about anything that I might have spoke about or anything like that, feel free to drop it in the comments. I will definitely respond to you, and hopefully we won't have any more delays in this video, and I'll be using this desk for a very, very long time to come. That's all I got. As always, I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out.